see.
Oh, there was some interesting thing on mobile mechanic or mobile auto technician, whatever thing.
Oh yeah, some guys were asking. See, the thing is, a lot of people think, I understand that you want to change the perception of what mechanics are, right? People always want to say, oh, we're not mechanics anymore, we're technicians. Well, a lot of people still don't understand that. So you do have to know that, you know, people perceive you as the way they perceive you. So when I say I'm a mechanic, people they know exactly what I do. If I say I'm a technician, they're going to be like, what kind of technician? You know, I can say I'm an automotive technician, but that's just not popular yet. So that's why my shop is the mechanic, because people know, okay, well, you obviously work on cars, right? So what makes me upset is when people try to nitpick the word and say, oh, well, I'm better than you because I'm a technician. That's what I don't like, and since I've been doing this a long time, I know when people are trying to be nitpicky and they're being assholes. Like I know when this guy was asking the question, he was like, well, there's a big difference. No fucking shit, there is a big difference. I understand that there's a difference, but for the purposes of what we're doing, a mechanic, it just over encompasses everything, okay? I understand there's a difference, but you don't have to be an asshole about it and try to be, oh, I'm better than you because I'm a technician and I have to have this license and that license to do my business. Okay, yeah, I understand that, but you're just being an asshole because you're trying to be better than somebody just because you say you're a technician instead of a mechanic.
So you don't like the labels?
I don't like the labels because that implies that you have power over me, right? Oh, I'm an automotive technician.
I think you made a video on this once, and I saw it, and I agreed but disagreed with some things. So not to get too deep into the subject, but for example, you know your stuff as far as what you need that would put you as an automotive technician. But the type of work that you do falls under the category of auto mechanic or automotive mechanic. So while, you know, you talked about ASC certifications and all that mumbo jumbo, they're important, but at the same time, if you can't do the work, they're irrelevant. One thing I've seen is I've had people where they're master techs, but they can't do the stuff that I can do. So it's like, what good is your piece of paper if you can't do it on there? So while it is important to the consumer, so I think it's more on the consumer side. You know, I stopped saying I'm an automotive technician because they say, well, what is that? So instead of dealing with it and explaining and all that stuff, like, I'm a mechanic.
Yeah, well, the thing is, this is where I'm at, okay?
Okay.
For a technician and a mechanic, automotive technician and mechanic, right? We all know that there's differences,
yes,
right? But the consumer doesn't know that there's differences. So if you want to imply and brand yourself as an automotive technician and brand yourself as somebody, oh, I'm better than a mechanic because I can do a lot more things, well, customers don't understand that. They don't know that. And for you to explain that is very, very difficult, right? Very difficult. So you show value in different ways. You say, I'm a mechanic, but you show value in different ways. So for me, the perception that I put out, my brand, is that I'm very clean, my shop is very nice, very well organized. I look really clean all the time. I'm very nice. You know, I give that perception of a very clean, nice, clean-cut mechanic. Now, if you're an automotive technician and you look like shit and you have a huge, ugly, you know, hairdo and you're just dirty all the time, it doesn't matter what you call yourself. People are going to perceive you in a negative way, no matter what you call yourself. So that's my whole deal with it, is that people that are trying to like brand themselves as automotive technicians, yeah, okay, well, that's great, but you also need all these other parts, and these other parts are way more important than just your name and the label you give yourself. So you could be a mechanic and still be perceived as a very good mechanic just because of the other things that are surrounding you. Do you understand?
I understand what you're saying. It's just hard to convince people because it just falls into one can do this, one has a particular set of skills.
Could convince the mechanic, like people that are watching?
Yeah, so automotive technicians, hence the sub-name tech, is more with the computerized systems. So based on my experience, you know, I can do some of the stuff that involves the computerized systems, whether it's diagnostics, scantal, whatever, reading stuff, being able to, you know, decipher the stuff. While other guys, older guys that mostly do mechanical work can't. So there is a distinction on what one can do and what can't do. So for example, I can diagnose. I had a friend who was a mechanic or we're both mechanics because we both do the same shit, but he can change something a lot faster than I can. But when it comes to maybe diagnosing something, he may not be able to do it as fast as I can. So it's different set of skills. Neither one is better than the other, in my opinion. It's not that so much one is better than the other. It's just that two different set of skills. Because a mechanic can learn automotive tech skills, and automotive techs can learn mechanic skills. I think it's just skill difference, not so much that it makes me better than that person or that person better than me.
I'm not arguing the fact that there's differences. What I'm arguing is that
This title of supremacy over
like if somebody's trying to tell me, oh, I'm not a mechanic, I'm a technician. Okay, well, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. When I say, okay, guys, we're gonna have a mechanic come in, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. I don't need you to tell me, oh, well, there's a difference. I fucking know there's a difference. So I'm not here to argue that. So that's what I get a little bit. I don't really care. But people are just being,
picky,
oh
nitpicky.
my god, like, oh no, I'm gonna make, shut the fuck up. You know what I'm talking about.
I'm a technician. No, I'm a
like
mechanic.
I understand. Like you know better than I do that there's differences. The consumer might not.
Well, generally
so
doesn't.
like I just call myself what everybody else knows, knows that I am.
Mechanic.
So that's where I get upset, and that's where I'm like, dude,
Well,
stop being nitpicky.
I've so much not done it in order to keep from arguments. Everybody, you're not going to convince anybody, if they're stubborn. But what really matters is you and the consumer, not so much you and the other guys.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care what people call me. I know what I can do. So
Sure.
at the end of the day,
You don't
call me
lose
whatever
anything.
the fuck you
You
want
don't
me
lose
to do.
anything
I
fighting
fix
over it.
cars.
There you go. I fix cars.
So if you want to leave it at that, leave it at that.
I can fix cars. That's it.
So as a mole mechanic.